I am an RCB fan. Until 2025, a calculator used to be a very important tool for us fans. But now our team does not require calculators anymore. However, your team probably does. So here's how you're supposed to calculate the net run rate. The formula on paper is almost insultingly simple. Net run rate is runs scored divided by overs faced, subtracted by runs conceded divided by overs bowled. You're basically asking across the entire season how many more runs per over are we scoring than we are giving away. A positive number means you're bullying people, a negative number means you're Mumbai Indians, and the size of the number tells you how badly you're bullying or being bullied. Now here's where it gets interesting. When you write 19.4 overs, that's not 19.4. There are 6 balls in an over, not 10. So 19.4 overs is 19 overs and 4 balls, which in decimals is 19.667. And before you ask, yes, this matters because this is the difference between playoffs and a flight home. We'll get to that. Let's take a real life example to calculate NRR for one specific match. Let's do DC versus RCB. The Delhi Capitals got steamrolled for 75 runs in 16.3 overs. However, in the scorebook that still counts as 75 runs in 20 overs and not 16.3. Now let's bring back the original formula for NRR and let's try and calculate the NRR for this match. So plugging in the numbers, RCB scored 77 runs in 6.3 overs. Now 6.3 in decimal terms counts as 6.5 overs, and they conceded 75 runs in 16.3 overs. However, as per the scorebook, we count that as 20 overs bowled. So the run rate scored comes to 11.85 and the run rate conceded comes to 3.75, making the net effect as a net run rate of 8.1 from this match alone. Now 8.1 as net run rate seems diabolical.
That was diabolical!
That's because it's over one match alone. However, the net run rate in a season is across matches and it's cumulative. So let's try and calculate it for a hypothetical 3-match season. Let's say Royal Challengers Bengaluru in game 1 dominate the opponent by scoring 210 in 20 overs and then bowling them out for 120 in 14.2 overs, winning by 90 runs. And in the second game, they score 180 for 5 in 20 overs and they get chased down in 19.4 for 181, losing by 6 wickets. In the third game, in classic RCB fashion, they lose again by first scoring 175 for 6 in 20 overs and then getting chased down in 20 overs for 176 for 5. Now comes the fun part, the maths. So let's start with the run rate for, which is 210 plus 180 plus 175, which is 565 runs scored, and they face 20 overs in all 3 matches, so 565 will be divided by 60, making the run rate for as 9.42. Now run rate against is runs conceded upon overs bowled. So they conceded 120 runs in 14.2 overs, which counts as 20 overs because the opponent was bowled out, and 181 runs in 19.4 overs, which in decimals counts as 19.667, and in the final game 176 in 20 overs. So total runs conceded comes to 477 and total overs bowled comes to 59.667. The run rate against becomes 7.99 and the net run rate for RCB after 3 matches becomes 1.43, coming from just 1 win out of 3, by the way. So this is how the net run rate game works. Have you ever won a game but still ended up losing? Yeah, that's happened quite a bit in the IPL, and here's some examples from the history where teams have had NRR come in clutch for them and not for the rest. In 2024, RCB had 6 straight losses at the start of the season. Their playoff hopes completely written off. They had a 0.01% chance of qualification at that point. Then they won 6 on the bounce and went straight into the last game decided against CSK with hopes still alive. CSK were at 14 points with a 0.5 net run rate. RCB was at 12 with a 0.3 net run rate. So they had to beat CSK, but they had to beat them by enough of a margin where they would go above CSK on net run rate. which they had to do by 18 runs if they were defending. And they did exactly that. They posted 218 on the board and they won by 27 runs, beating CSK and taking a spot in the qualifications. In 2014, one of the most decorated teams in IPL, Mumbai Indians, had to chase 190 in exactly 14.3 overs against Rajasthan Royals to qualify for the playoffs. Corey Anderson batted like a man possessed. Scores were tied at 14.3 overs. With one ball left, they had to hit a boundary of James Faulkner, and in this situation, Aditya Tare walked in and faced the first ball of his match and hit a 6. Job done, playoff tickets booked as they went past Rajasthan Royals on NRR, qualifying for the playoffs, finishing 4th in the table.
How could you leave then tere kid da how could you leave then tere kid da how could you leave then tere kid da how could you leave then tere dil na